today. Okay, so take this problem. So now the input output relation which is given by a continuous LTI system, so which is represented by the input output relationship, okay, which is given by y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to t x of tau into e power minus of t minus tau into d tau. So now this is the input output relation which is given by a continuous time LTI system. Okay. So now what you have to find out? You have to find out the first one, what is the impulse response of this system. Okay. You need to find what is the impulse response, and second one you need to find if the complex exponential e power minus t. Okay, if you give input as e power minus st as a complex exponential signal, so then you have to show, so this is the eigen function and corresponding eigen value you have to find it out. So third one, corresponding eigen value you have to find it out for this input output relation. Okay, so this is the actual problem. So now first we need to find out what is the impulse response of this system. Okay, so in definition we know what is impulse response, h of t, which is given by the system response to a the input signal, which is the impulse del of t. Okay, so this is a definition. The impulse response is nothing but the system's response when the input is given by del of t. Okay, so now we use that the property which is we know already, that is x of t into del of t, which is given by, which is nothing but x of t at t equal to 0, is it not, or x of 0. Okay, similarly if you have time shifted version, which is x of t minus x of t into del of t minus t naught, so then this will be equal to, so x of t minus t naught, the input shifted signal when the impulse response is shifted. Okay, so these are the properties we know, so use these properties and we can try to find it out. Okay, so now we give the output which is given by, so which is already it is there here, which is minus infinity t and x of tau into e power minus of t minus tau into d tau. So now if you take the h of t and x of t, the convolution in time domain, just we know the equation, you write compare that equation, which is minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau into h of t minus tau into d tau, is it not? So this is the actual convolution equation in time domain. So now if you compare these two equations, so what we will come to know? So the impulse response, you can see the x of tau, whichever input is, it is same as the input, and the impulse response is this one, is it not? So now if you compare that one, we can write it as that x of t, or the impulse response h of t, which is equal to minus infinity to t. Okay, so that is e power minus of t minus tau into d tau. So now this response is given only when you give impulse signal, that is del of tau. Okay, so that is important here. So whenever you give that impulse response, then this will be produced. So now we need to evaluate this one. So if you evaluate this one, this will give only when tau equal to 0. That means e power of minus of t minus tau, which is only when tau equal to 0. Okay, so now if you evaluate this one, okay, so what you will get? You will get the e power minus t So this is only when t is greater than 0, because your integral is minus infinity to t, which is greater than t greater than 0. So this is your h of t. Okay, so this is your impulse signal which is given by e power minus t. When t is greater than 0, we can write it as u of t, because this is a step signal multiplied by this impulse response only when it is t greater than 0. So now this is the impulse response. So now if you can put back this h of t in this equation, you will come to know, so this equation, is it not? So just if you replace t by minus t minus tau, what you will get? E power minus t, replace t by t minus tau, you will get back the same e power minus of t minus tau. So that is what we use in this equation, that is input output relation. So this is your impulse response which we can get from that equation. So this is the impulse response. Is it fine? Understood? So this you can use this equation, that is x of t into del of t, only when x of t is given at t equal to 0. So now similarly just use instead of x of t, just I am using h of t. Okay, h of t into del of tau. So this is only when tau equal to 0. So that is that property I am using, and I am finding out the what is impulse response. Okay, so this is what the impulse response. So now we need to find out for the complex exponential signal e power minus st. Now what is the corresponding value of eigenvalue? So for that, so in order to find out that, so first use this e power minus t as an input signal x of t. So now what you will get? Just put that in this in that equation, that is x of t, that is y of t equal to minus infinity to t x of tau into e power minus of t minus tau into d tau. Okay, so now put x of t which is equal to e power minus st. Okay, so now if you put in this equation, so you will get y of t which is equal to minus infinity to t e power minus s into tau, because it is the variable, it is tau here, and e power minus of t minus tau into d tau. Okay, so now if you evaluate this integral, so you will get to know what is y of t for the complex exponential signal e power minus st. So what you will get? So since it is a variable tau, so e power minus t you take outside, e power minus t. Okay, and minus infinity to t, so if you add this one, so it will become e power, so minus of s plus 1 into tau into d tau. Okay, so now if you express this one, or if you evaluate this integral, you will get, so e power minus s plus 1 into tau is divided by s plus 1. Okay, so is it fine? So it is e power minus s tau, and here it is e power plus tau. So if we just expand that one, I can write this one as e power minus t into e power minus s tau into e power tau. So this will be equal to, okay, sorry, this is e power plus st. So in the earlier also just take it as the input is plus st. Okay, e power plus st, where s is the complex variable. Okay, s is the complex variable. Okay, so that you have to input here. So this is plus st, and here also it is plus st. So you will get, so this you will get e power s plus 1 into tau. So here it is plus. Okay, so now it is varying from minus infinity to t. So now if you substitute this one, so you will get, so e power minus t by s plus 1 So what you will get this one? If it is t, then you will get e power s plus 1 into t minus e power minus infinity, that will, it will become 0. So this you will get 0. So this will be the integral. So this will be equal to, so e power minus t into e power s plus, so s plus 1 we can write it as e power st into e power t. Okay, so this divided by s plus 1. So this we can get cancel each other, and you will get, so 1 over s plus 1 into e power st. So this we can write it as the lambda, which is eigenvalue. So the output which you have got is nothing but, so it is the eigenvalue or eigen function or characteristic equation, that is lambda into e power st. Okay, so they where lambda, that is eigenvalue, which is nothing but 1 over s plus 1 in our. Okay, so this is the corresponding eigenvalue lambda, and this is the output equation whenever you give input as the complex exponential signal e power st plus st. Okay, so is it understood, this one? Any doubt in this? Hello, Gagana, understood? Any doubt?
No doubts.
Okay, anybody is having any doubt in this problem? Okay, so now we will continue to the properties of system. Okay, so this will continue to the properties of continuous LTI system. Okay, as like your properties of system, so properties of LTI systems also important, and you need to know what are all the properties of that LTI system in both in continuous as well as the discrete time domain. So now what are all the properties? So first one is commutative property. Okay, commutative property, and second one is distributive property, and third one is associative property, and fourth one is memoryless, and fifth one is causal, and sixth one is stability property. Okay, and even, so one more is there, that is invertible property, invertibility. Okay, so these are all the, so some of the properties of continuous or even continuous and as well as discrete time, so this LTI systems. So now we'll look into this, what is commutative property. So now if you take x of t and h of t in continuous domain as the impulse response and the input signal, and similarly in the discrete time case x of n and h of n. Now if the LTI system possesses the commutative property, then what you will get? So you will get x of n convolution h of n, which is nothing but, if you reverse the both the response impulse response and the input, so that is also gives the same results, which is the convolution of h of n and x of n. Okay, just if you reverse the input and impulse response, so in the convolution, so it will give the same result. So now we will prove that. So first you take this LHS, which is the output y of n, which is given by summation k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, so x of k into h of n minus k. Okay, so now, so for this, now you just take n minus k, which is equal to m. Okay, so change the variable, so you will get k, so whenever k is minus infinity, so even your m will become minus infinity. Okay, and your m is, when k is plus infinity, so you will get the m also the plus infinity, so which is equal to, so now k if you replace it, so what is k, which is nothing but n minus m, so that is x of n minus m into h of m. Okay, so now you change the way, change the impulse response and this input signal, so you will get m equal to minus infinity to plus infinity h of m into x of n minus m. So now see the equation, this one, so it is looking like the convolution of h of m with the x of m. Okay, so you can see here the variable which is k, which we have written as x of n convolution x of n, and similarly here instead of k the m is the variable, so this one we can similarly write it as h of n, okay, convolution x of n. So this is what we got here, so this is nothing but the commutative property. Okay, so whenever you, if you just change the input and impulse response convolution order, so then it will be equal, so this is what the commutative property. Okay, similarly for the even continuous case also, so if you take the integral in the continuous time case also, it is commutative, that is, so minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau into h of t minus tau into t tau. So this is nothing but your convolution x of t convolution h of t. Okay, so which is equal to, so now if you change the t minus tau to some other variable, okay, and then similarly you can exchange and you will get the, so for the similar kind of discrete time case you will get the continuous time case as h of t convolution x of t. Okay, so by changing this variable t minus tau to some other m variable, so then you can get it the similar kind x of t into convolution x of tau. Okay, so that you can do it in the continuous time case. Okay, so this is about the commutative property. So now come to the associative property or distributive. Second one is distributive property. Okay, distributive property. So what is meant by distributive? So if you convolve, that is input signal with two impulse responses, that is h1 of n plus h2 of n. Okay, so then the output which is coming from this convolution, which is the, so the convolution operation which is x of n, it is convolved with the h1 of n and as well as h2 of n, that is the output is the addition of the separate convolution which is x of n with h1 of n and x of n with the h2 of n. So this is what distributive property, that is x of n convolution h2 of n. So that you can represent it in the block diagram, so how it will be look like. So you can see in the block diagram, if I give x of n to a two impulse responses, that is h1 of n and h2 of n. Okay, so it will give y1 of n, the first output of this impulse response when the input signal x of n is given, and this is a second output, that is y2 of n. So now this addition of these two you will get the, that is output y of n. Okay, so this is your output y of n, which is the convolution of x of n with the h1 of n, and similarly x of n convolution h2 of n. The addition of these two you will get, this is y1 of n and this is y2 of n, and you will get the output y of n, which is equal to y1 of n plus y2 of n. So this is your the distributive property. Now we will prove by taking this equation in the left hand side and we will arrive the equation in the right hand side. Okay. So now take the left hand side, which is in the discrete time domain, that is x of n convolution h1 of n plus h2 of n. Okay. Now write the equation in the summation form. So you will get so whatever in the block diagram which we have seen. So here earlier. So just the same equation I will take, that is y of n equal to y1 of n plus y2 of n. So if I take that y1 of n equal to, sorry, this is y of n, y1 of n plus y2 of n. So now you can write separately this one, that is, so y1 of n is x of n convolution h1 of n plus x of n convolution h2 of n. Okay, so now you can write it in the summation form, that is, so k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of k into h1 of n minus k, so plus the summation, which is k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of k into h2 of n minus k. Okay, so now you can see the summation, it is same for x of k here and x of k here. So now what we can write, we can take out the summation and x of k in the common, so which is nothing but k equal to minus infinity to the plus infinity x of k. Okay, so this into h1 of n minus k plus h2 of n minus k. Okay, so this we can take it out, and this is the common, that is x1 of k and h1 of x1 x of k and summation, and remaining part is h1 of n minus k and h2 of n minus k. Okay, so now we can write this one as the convolution of the individual impulse responses, is it not? Okay, that is nothing but, so now take this one summation and the first one. Okay, this one into this one, you can write it as convolution of the x of n. Okay, convolution. So now we can write this individual impulse responses as additive response, that is h1 of n plus h2 of n. Okay, so this is the convolution of the x of n with the individual h1 of n and h2 of n. So the same thing which we arrived by taking the separate, so outputs y1 of n and y2 of n, we have taken separate outputs and we have arrived, so that is, it is a convolve with the addition of these impulse responses, that is h1 of n and h2 of n. So that we can write it the output of this system as, so we can take this h1 of n and h2 of n as the addition of the individual impulse responses, and you will get the y of n. So if you give the x of n, and this is a convolution with both the addition of these two impulse responses, that is, it is distributive. So if you take different impulse responses and if you multiply the input signal, it is the output is the addition of the convolution of, so that impulse responses with the input signal x of n. So that we have represented in the block diagram here. So that we can write it as the addition of these two impulse responses with the convolution of input signal, that will give the output signal. So this is what the distributive property, and similarly you can write it in the continuous time case. Okay, so try to do in the continuous time case. So take this in individual responses and you can try to do it. So that is, so in the time domain you try to do it. So now coming to the associative property, Okay, so is it understood? Any doubt in this? The distributive property which you have proved, that one. Hello, any doubt in this? Ayush, any doubt? Hello, Ayush.
No, sir.
Okay, have you got it? Hello, Kusuma, any doubt? Hello, Kusuma. Okay, okay, we'll continue. So we'll prove the associative property, how it will be. Okay, so what your associative property tells us? So if you have the inputs x of n and h of n, that is, if you have x of n and your impulse responses, if you have h1 of n and h2 of n. So what is associative property tells us? If you take the convolution of x of n with the h1 of n and convolution h2 of n, so that is, so the order you can see here, the convolution of x of n is the convolution of resultant signal h1 of n and h2 of n. Okay, so that you can write it as, if you change the order as, that is x of n convolution h of n, that is h1 of n, the resultant of this, if you convolve with the h2 of n, that will be equal as like this one. So okay, so if you take the convolution of the resultant h1 of n h2 of n with the input signal, which is same as if you convolve the x of n with the h1 of n and take the resultant and it will convolve with the h2 of n, those results will be equal. That is what associative property. Okay, so now if you take this left hand side or right hand side, then you can try to prove that. Okay, so if you so now for this one we'll take the continuous time case, because in earlier we have taken discrete time case. So we'll take the continuous time case, that is x of t convolution h1 of t convolution h2 of t, which is equal to, that is x of t convolution h1 of t. So if you convolve this result with h2 of t, which will be same. Okay, so now take this convolution equation, what you will get, that is minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so now I'll take this as the, in the block diagram, this one, if I take x of t as an input and if I give to the first h1 of t, now the convolution of these two signal, if it is giving the intermediate signal z of t, I'll write it as, and second one, that is h2 of t. Okay, and the output you will get the y of t. Okay, so now I'll first write the intermediate signal z of t, which is nothing but, so z of, so z of t, or so z of t is nothing but your the convolution of x of t into h1 of t, that is z of t is nothing but x of t into h1 h1 of t minus tau. Okay, into d tau. So this is your the intermediate signal z of t. Okay, so now if I want to write output y of t, what you will get, output y of t? Y of t is nothing but your convolution of z of t into h2 of t, that is minus infinity to plus infinity z of tau convolved with h2 of t minus tau. Okay, into d tau. So now you input the z of tau, which is already we have found out here. So replace z of t by z of tau and you can input here, then we will get the what is the output. Okay, so now if you replace that one, y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So z of tau we are replacing now, that is again minus infinity to plus infinity, that is x of tau. So z of tau is nothing but, So x of tau into h1 of t minus tau. Okay. So or else here also we are taking the variable t minus tau. So instead we can take x of something other variable, which is some other variable we can take, otherwise we will get confused here. Okay. So minus infinity to plus infinity, we'll take eta. Okay, x of eta into h1 of t minus uh, eta minus tau minus eta. So we'll take that like that. Okay. So h of tau minus eta into so t eta. So this is the z of tau. Just now you replace this one, that is x of eta. So replace this input signal z of tau, that is minus infinity to plus infinity x of eta, okay, into h of tau minus eta into t eta. So and one more, that is h2, that is this is h1 and h2 of t minus tau into t tau. Okay. So this is the final output of the system where we have connected so h1 and h2 like this and convolve with the x of t is the cascaded connection. So this associative property we can write it in the cascaded connection, and similarly distributive property we wrote in the parallel connection, parallel combination, since it is a so addition of two impulse responses, here convolution of two impulse responses, so that's why it is in the cascaded form. So now take this one and try to get back the convolution in terms of this output y of t. So what you will get? So now replace the t minus tau by m. Okay. So just replace this tau minus eta by m. So what you will get? So you will get y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So x of eta we can take out, and so we need to replace tau minus eta by m. Okay. So what you will get? So h1 of m. So here, so one more infinity, that is integral is there, that is minus infinity to plus infinity. I'll put it here. So h1 of m into, so now if you take d eta, that is nothing but that you will get dm, so that is d into m, so into, so whatever your h2 of t minus tau. Now replace the tau value, so you will get, that is t minus, the tau is nothing but here you can see here the tau value, which is nothing but, so from this tau value if you want to get, that is m plus n. Okay. So the same thing you replace it, so here, so you will get h2 of t minus m minus n. Okay. So that into t tau. Okay. dm we are putting, so d eta we have to. Okay. So this is the integral. So if you just, if you observe here, so this one, so this integral, that is h1 of m into dm into h2 of t minus m into minus m. So this is nothing but the convolution of operation h1 of t into h2 of t. Okay. So that we can write it as, that is y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of eta into, so this we can write it as the convolution of h1 of t into h2 of t, that is nothing but the h of t minus eta into d eta. So this we can write it in terms of the convolution of the h term, which is h1 of m into this function. Okay, so we can write that in the separate form, so that will write that. Okay, so if you write that one separately, that is h of t minus eta, which is nothing but your h1 of tau minus eta convolution h2 of t minus eta. Okay, so if you convolve this, you can write that equation back. So this is similar to your whatever h of t, which is nothing but h1 of t convolution h2 of t, that is in this form. But if you replace t by t minus n, you will get this one. Okay, so the similar way, so we have substituted this h1 of t and h2 of t with the h of t, so that we will use this equation. So that's how we have wrote this equation, which is nothing but x eta, x of eta into h of t minus, so eta into d eta. So now we can write this one as x of t convolution h of t. In terms h of t, we can write it as convolution of h1 of t and h2 of t. So that we can, so that will give the, so the proof for associative property. So that is, so your y of t will be equal to x of t, so that is convolution of h1 of t, again convolution of h2 of t. Okay, so this is your output. So that first we have to code the, so equation for x1, that is this x1 and intermediate signal, that is h1 of t. First we will convolve this, then we are convolving this. At the output side, what it is coming, so this is a convolution of these two and finally convolve with this. So that is what the associative property you are getting. Okay, so whenever we take for the proof, so we took it as, that is first we took it as x of t convolution h1 of t. Okay, so that first integral we have taken that one, then convolution of h2 of t we have done. So this is the input side, whichever you taken, and after that we arrive this one. So that proves the associative property. Okay, so is it understood? Any doubt? Hello, any doubt in this associative property? So if you have
No,
any,
sir.
yeah, tell me.
No, sir. I said no, sir.
Okay, so this is about the associative property, and you can even prove with the discrete time also. So that will that you people try to do that in the discrete time domain. Just instead of integral, you can take the summation and change the variable, and you will get the, so discrete time case. Okay, so now what is meant by another property which we have discussed, memoryless property. So what is meant by memoryless property? So in general, in when we discuss about the systems, when it will become memoryless, only, so the system which is having, so if it, the output of the system depends only on the present value of the system, then it will be having called as memoryless, right? So only present value, the output of the system depends only on the present value, right? So if it is having depends on past or future value, then we'll call it as that having a memory. And if it is depends only on the present value, then the system is said to be a memoryless system, is it not? That is what the, when we discussed about the system. So now if you come to the LTI system, so for that LTI system, if the LTI system is said to be memoryless, then your impulse response h of n, okay, so this impulse response h of n should be 0 for n is not equal to 0, okay. So for only for other values of n, because impulse response is the response of the system when we give the input as del of n, that is impulse, okay. The impulse will give only at n equal to 0, the response which will give only at n equal to 0. So that's why if the LTI system, if we need to set it as memoryless, if it is h of n equal to 0 for n is not equal to 0, okay. And in the similar time that continuous time h of t should be equal to 0 for t not equal to 0, okay. So that is the memoryless system. So if the system is said to be a memoryless, then your impulse response h of n is 0 for n is not equal to 0 and h of t equal to 0 for t is not equal to 0. So this is what the memoryless system. And similarly causal system, in general what we discussed about the causal system, the system depends on present or past values, then the system is said to be causal system, is it not? If it is depends on the future, then we can said to be a non-causal system. So now for the LTI case, so for the LTI system case, so now for LTI system case, okay, so now if the system is said to be a causal system, then if its h of n, that is impulse response, is 0 for n less than 0, okay. So this is important. So when n is less than 0, the impulse response should give 0 for the causal system, and similarly for h of t should be 0 for t less than 0, okay. So this is for the causal case system. So if the system is said to be LTI system is said to be causal, then your h of n should be equal to 0 for n is less than 0, okay. And similarly for the continuous time case, h of t equal to 0 for t less than 0. So then we can call it as the LTI system is said to be a causal system, okay. So this is the condition for the causal system, that is in the LTI system case, okay. So this is about the causal system and memoryless system. And even if you take the invertibility of the system, so that is if you take any x of n, if you take x of n and if you pass it to the impulse response h of n, and if the inverse of this system exists, that is hi of n, okay. So if the inverse of this response exists, then your y of n will be equal to similar to your x of n, okay. So your output will be equal to same as whatever input you are given. So for this invertibility system, the system is said to be invertible. So then your h of n, which is uh, convolved with the hi of n, that is the inverse of this system. So then we can set, so that resultant will be equal to the impulse response, that is del of n. If the system LTI system is said to be invertible system, then the convolution of h of n and inverse of that impulse response hi of n should be equal to del of n. So then we can say the LTI system is said to be invertible, that is invertible system, okay. So invertible system. And the similar way, so another one is stable system. So what is meant by stable system? If the input is bounded with the bounded value of input, so if the input is bounded, so then the output is also should be bounded, then we can say that the system is stable. So that means, so if you just take the convolution of the system, that is the y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into h of t minus tau into d tau, okay. So now this is the convolution equation. So now your x of t is bounded, that is it gives some okay. So if your input is bounded, that is it is giving some infinite value, that is input is bounded with the some value which is less than infinity. So then your output system is also should be bounded. So when it will be bounded, that is y of t. So when the input is less than the infinite, so that is it is having some value. So generally what will happen, the output is also always less than the input, that is the system and input response. Okay, so that means output is due to noise, or in practical system if you see, due to presence of noise or interference, the output will be reduced, so compared to the input which is given. So that's why it is always less than the response of the system with the input. So that will be less than or equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into h of t minus tau into d tau. Okay, now we know the input is bounded with the value of the some value mx. So what will happen then, this is the bounded input which is equal to x of t, which is bounded. So now remaining is the impulse response, that is t minus tau into d tau. So now when this output will be bounded, okay, so this output y of t, so which is less than or equal to, so now output y of t is bounded only when this impulse response, that is minus infinity to plus infinity and h of tau, so into d tau, if you take the only impulse response, so if this impulse response will be absolutely integrable, okay, so then only we can say that the output of the system is bounded. Since the input is already bounded to value, and if your output should be also bounded, then your impulse response will be absolutely integrable. That means you have to take the integration of the impulse response, it should give the the value which is less than infinity. So then you will get the output of the system which is bounded. And similarly in the discrete time case also, so if you take y of n which is equal to summation k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, which is x of n, that is into h of n minus k. So now if your input is bounded completely, so y of n is always less than the output, it is less than the response and the convolution of this input signal, which is now x of n is bounded, so you can take out that x of n which is bounded. So now when your impulse response which is absolutely summable, okay, so if the impulse response is absolutely summable, so then your output is bounded. Okay, so if the impulse response is absolutely summable, so that means all the impulse values, if you want to sum it and it will give the finite value, so then your output will be bounded output. Okay, so that means your input is bounded to some value, so then output is also should be bounded. Then we can call it as the LTI system. LTI system is BIBO stable, that is bounded input, bounded output, stable system. So only when the impulse responses, it is absolutely summable in the discrete time case, and it is absolutely integrable in the continuous time case. So this is what the stability of LTI system. Okay, so is it understood the properties of the system? Any doubt? Hello, any doubt in this properties of the system? Janavi,
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, So Pramod Reddy. Hello, Pramod Reddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll do the problems on properties of system. So tomorrow. Okay.